Hi everybody, I'm Professor Jean-Pierre Poulain from Toulouse University, France. I'm working in a research group under the umbrella of CNRS. I'm a professor of food sociology, but I have also an academic background in food service, engineering and design. At the present time, I'm leading a group set up in partnership with Toulouse University, France, and Taylor's University, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, under the umbrella of CNRS, called Food, Culture, and Health. We are working at the level of Southeast Asia on the transformation of food habits and food practices to try to understand the consequences in terms of market organization, in terms of health, and well-being. What could be the food consumed in Singapore in 2030? To answer this question, we need first to understand what are the trends that transform the everyday practices of the people and the household. The second question is to project these trends in 10 years to understand the transformation of the food service sector. And the last one is to imagine the criteria for acceptance of innovation, both by customer but also by the actor of the food system. So what is specific to Singapore? The first thing is the demographic situation, with a big part of the population older than 65, and it will increase in the future. The second is we have a population with a quite high purchasing power, good level of education, and interested by nutrition and health. But at the same time, the cultural dimension of food, the gastronomic, the identity, cultural identity, is very important. The way to eat, eating out, is at a level in Southeast Asia one of the most important, much more than in Europe, nothing to see, including now the architecture and the organization of the new condominium with a very small kitchen. So if we go in depth in the understanding of the transformation of the food habits, we just saw this couple between nutrition and gastronomic dimension. Another point is a new relation or complexity of the relation between human being and animals, with the demand more and more of animal welfare, the concern about the way of feeding, the way of killing animal for food. A part of the population become vegetarian, and we have to take into account this question. The third point is the environmental concern, the awareness that a choice, the food choice, have certain environmental concern is more and more important. And finally, the idea that food is also a matter of politics, mainly in terms of sovereignty, is also something that the population begin to have in mind. So this context of transformation developed what we have called the nutrition transition. And more specifically, what we focus on now under the name of protein transition. In the first stage of the development, we can see a movement from protein from plant source to animal protein. In the second stage, we have a very long period of time of stability. And in the most developed situation, we can see a drop down of the protein coming from animals. We need also to take into account the fact that in Singapore, the food culture is very strong. We have just to speak 2 minutes about chicken rice. And you remember when Hawker get a Michelin star, it was amazing, first time in the history. And one particular thing in the food culture in Singapore is the high level of eating out. High level in terms of frequency and high level in terms of quality. If we compare in Europe, in Germany, they eat 1 meal on 7 out of the home. In France, in Spain, it's 1 on 5, means 20%. In Italy, 1 on 4. In US, they eat a lot out, 1 on 2. In Singapore, it's more. It's 1 on 1.6. That means we cannot imagine the future of food without taking in consideration the fact that to eat, Singaporean people use a lot of different kind of restaurant, from gastronomy to street food. The fact that we eat a lot outside of the home in Singapore, and the fact that the delivery is increasing very fast. That means a certain number of meals are eaten at home, but was prepared in a restaurant outside and delivered at home. We can see a transformation, including in the apartment. A lot of now are built with a very small kitchen. That means the idea that we eat more and more outside, it's integrated by the architect. It has also an influence on the practices. That means less you can cook and more you will eat out or deliver the food. The research we can do to try to identify the criteria for acceptance in innovation for food in Singapore in 10 years will be based on a series of big surveys that we are conducting at the present time. The first one is called Eating Out in Asia. The second one is the ASEAN Food Barometer that focuses more on the transformation of the structure of the meal. And the last one is focusing on the protein consumption. New survey, new analysis have to be conducted with a different category of actors in Singapore itself. We can also imagine to have some relation with a different category of researchers working on a topic more technological, because we are downstream of the question and we can help to evaluate the acceptability of this kind of project.